Good afternoon. My name is Karen Polking and I'm Vice President for Community Relations. It's my pleasure to welcome you to campus today and thank you for joining with us in the celebration of South Hall, the opening of South Hall. This afternoon's ribbon cutting will begin with a few words from the President of Notre Dame College, Dr. Andrew Roth. Following Dr. Roth, we'll hear from Ms. Joan McCarthy, Chair of the Board of Directors, then Mr. Mac Donnelly, President and CEO of Donnelly Construction. Then we'll hear from the Mayor of South Euclid, Georgine Wheelow, and following Mayor Wheelow will be Mr. John Phillips, Vice President for Finance and Administration. Dr. Roth?
Thank you, Karen. Welcome. This is a really special day for Notre Dame College. Very important day in the history of Notre Dame College, and it's quite appropriate that it's a beautiful, sunshiny day. I'd like to begin by saying some thank yous to people. First, I'd like to thank the members of the Board of Directors for being here, but also for having the confidence in the administration and the college community to permit us to move forward with this project. I'd like to thank the Notre Dame College staff and administration who have labored so hard to make this happen, particularly Tom Meeks and his staff who actually, you're standing on a parking lot that wasn't paved 12 hours ago. And so you're just how recent everything is. I'd like to thank Mac Donnelly and Donnelly's Construction for their superb work in overseeing and actually constructing both North Hall, what we used to call the infill building, which doesn't seem to be particularly appropriate, but in fact was done so well, most people now don't realize that even as recently as a year ago it wasn't there. But I'd like to thank Donnelly's for their excellent work and all of the subcontractors who worked so diligently on this project. I also like to thank the representatives of Bank of America who are here, without whose support, for which they deservedly expect to be repaid, but without whose support and help we wouldn't be standing here because this would still be an empty lot. I'd also like to thank the City of South Euclid for their cooperation, particularly Mayor Wheelow and her administration for their cooperation in helping us move this project forward and bring it to conclusion. There's really too many people to thank, and when you start thanking people, you inadvertently omit someone. I see one of our architects earlier, Jim's back there. I'd like to thank he and his partner at Studio Techni for designing the building. And as I said, when you thank people, you inadvertently forget someone. So for anyone whom I have inadvertently forgotten, thank you. South Hall is a symbol of Notre Dame College's rebirth, revitalization, its continuing prosperity, the academic quality and financial stability of the college. Unlike many colleges, for the most part, Notre Dame College has weathered the economic storms, although we've not been immune and have certain challenges that we'll be meeting and overcoming. But nonetheless, South Hall is a symbol of the college's financial strength and its financial stability. This fall, we will have, yet again, this is almost becoming trite, a record enrollment. We currently, the number is somewhere in the area of 425 new students will arrive this fall, and full-time enrollment will be approximately 1,050. So we are actually ahead of schedule in our strategic plan. And that's a compliment to the hard work of a whole lot of people. To put those numbers in context, 7 years ago, we enrolled 65 new students and had something around 300 total students. What's even more interesting when you hear those numbers is we will this fall have over 640 resident students on campus, or approximately 2.25 times as many total students as we have. It will clearly be a new and very different day for Notre Dame College. Notre Dame is attractive to students for a number of reasons, primarily the strength of its academic programs and its co-curricular offerings. We feature a vibrant campus life, as many of you know. South Hall is only the most recent of an ongoing series of upgrades and new construction at the school. North Hall, the remodeling of the dining hall. This is at least the 10th or 12th project we've done in the last 3 or 4 years. North Hall, the dining hall, the Falcon Cafe, the remodeling of the library, nursing laboratory, new classrooms, et cetera, all of which are symbols of our continued growth and the continued financial strength of the school. We don't grow, however, simply to grow. And Notre Dame isn't about numbers, and frequently when you're in my position, particularly with a lot of bankers around me, I have to talk about numbers. But what we do at Notre Dame isn't only about numbers. A very wise person has said, and you've all heard me say this, that numbers are important because if the institution dies, the mission dies with it. What we're really about, however, is the mission of Notre Dame College, which is to provide a high-quality, values-based, private education for students who might not otherwise have access to such an education. Notre Dame is one of the most diverse schools in the state of Ohio. Maybe an even more important statistic is more than half of our students come from households with household incomes under $50,000 a year. Notre Dame is not an elitist institution. What we try to provide at Notre Dame is an elite academic experience for students who, in other contexts and in other areas, may not have access to that. So while we're talking about numbers and looking at bricks, we have not lose sight of the fact that we are a mission-driven institution that in the tradition of the Sisters of Notre Dame try to educate students for personal, professional, and global responsibility. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am blown away by the number of people that are here. When they asked me to make a few remarks, I thought, well, you know, there'll be 10 or 20 people of us. We'll be talking to each other. But thank you very much for coming. Dr. Roth, mayor, staff, friends, neighbors, students, all of the professionals that have brought us to this point, thank you and welcome. This is a very unique day to recognize and to celebrate this milestone in the history of Notre Dame College. A ribbon cutting of a new dorm has only occurred 4 or 5 times in the history of the institution, so it's truly something well worth celebrating. It's also, in my mind, a physical representation of the vision that Dr. Roth outlined in his inaugural speech in 2003. We now are one of the finest small Catholic colleges in Great Lakes area, as he promised that we would become, and the board is proud of the accomplishments at Notre Dame under the guidance of Dr. Roth. We are living through very uncertain economic times, and we have many challenges as we continue to grow. However, the forward motion that was in place at Notre Dame before these economic times hit will carry us through and out of this period as a stronger institution. We will continue our growth, maintain our forward motion, but keep our eyes on the goals, making decisions with realism and with a clear sense of our responsibility to the institution, to the community, but primarily to our students. Just as most of us look at this building, or when you have a chance to tour it later, you'll wish you had been able to live in these kinds of conditions in college. Each decision we make as a board makes us filter those decisions through the what is best for our students process. We built South Hall with the goal to enhance the college experience of our juniors and seniors, and I think we have succeeded in light of the filled to capacity report that I recently received from Dr. Roth. Thank you to Donnelly Construction, thank you to the Sisters of Notre Dame, thank you to the City of South Euclid, thank you to Tom Meeks and his terrific staff, thank you to the administration, staff, and faculty of Notre Dame, and to all the neighbors who may experience some inconveniences along the way. And as well, thank you to all of my fellow board members. This has, without a doubt, been a real team effort and something that we all can be very proud of. I'd just like to take this opportunity now to introduce Mac Donnelly of Donnelly Construction. Thank you.